So, hi everyone, this is Sarvanan. An aspiring candidate to seek a profile in Java development. So, I've got an experience of 2.6 years working in software industries, and I would like to brief about my profile over here. So, basically, I completed my computer science engineering in 2006 and my master's in wireless technology in Director Thiyagarajakumar Ramaswamy, Madurai. And then I joined a company called Ignite Intelligence as an intern, doing XMP related, XMP is a database kind of activity, testing activity. So I was subjected to develop a test hardness program which communicates to the database engine with network virtual terminal setup. Like when you speak about network virtual terminals, these network virtual terminals are the very basic communication protocol which is used in the client-server communication when it comes to telnet or even in browser communication. You need to have a telnet network virtual terminal engine which translates all your data packet stream into IAC codes and to read and write the IAC codes. So this is the basic work which I did in the month of February 2010. So the company basically got interested on my project, and then it hired me as a software engineer in the company. And then I took over a project called Pixel, which is an innovative project which is basically a PhD profile. Like the CTO of the company, she was doing a requirements engineering process improvements tool which was named as Pixel, and this product was developed in Bangalore at Ignite Intelligence. So I was heading out the project with 4 team members, and I was basically the principal architect behind the project. We had the basic stuff of the code going in through. So we had requirements coming in from the CTO, as we treated her as the customer, and then on our side I was primarily designing all the database activities. Right from when a requirement comes into picture, we actually get into the database impact, analyze what is going to happen in the system, and then we'll analyze what is going to be changed in the entity beans. So accordingly, when the entity beans change, we are subjected to write new functional modules which affect the calculation logic. So this overall process I was governing and I was taking it through. I was basically a coder in the process, and right after getting the project implemented, we had a demo with Siemens Munchi. So and that was happening in the month of May 2010, and subsequently we had demos over the clients where I happened to demonstrate the product to them and to brief about the product's benefits. It was merely a pre-sales in the organization. And then started working in the project, and then the project went fine, and then we happened to host the product from India. So I was the sole person responsible in binding up a production environment. The production environment, it was having a Apache Web's 2.2 server connected to application server, JBoss application server to 4.2.3, and our backend was MySQL. So the basic architecture of the system, the production environment, was on a same box. We happen to have the Apache web server and the application server binded, working together with JK mod connector using the URL worker class. So, and after that, the database machine was a secondary box which had the Hibernate XA connector, and it was communicating over through a high-speed LAN network. So I was the complete person designing the production environment. And like to say call in my profile, like I've been doing the Pojo bean design, like eventually the Pojo beans were of entity beans and for logical beans. I was introducing new, say like the authentication protocol packages into the application, the logical calculation application, the APIs into the application, and then say I was able to make a sort of a Java files which are subjected to the company's right to produce the graphs and the calculation outputs. So I was trying to put up everything in a Java file and then bind it together in a WAR file, and then the same was posted. Like the application went live on October 2011. Like it was available overnight. It's for your reference, you can view it as pixel.com.au. So I did the binding, also the binding from CNAME hosting to the web server part, and then say later on by 2011 I went into Sydney as a requirements engineering analyst and a senior test analyst at Origin Energy. So basically the profile over there in Origin Energy was to analyze, because the environment in which I was working was an agile development environment, and then say when you take up an agile development environment, it's a BA, a business analyst, a tester and a dev combined to do a request. So when a change request comes into picture, we estimate, like the individual person who was working on the requirement has to estimate, has to gain knowledge about what is happening in the dev side, and the tester has to say provide a data setup. A data setup is nothing but a script file which reflects the scenario of the user criteria. Like if the BA wants a user criteria to generate a data set of thousands, we need to write a PLSQL script which generates thousands of inserts into the table. So this is the basic starting point of my role over there in Origin. So, and after that, the developer, when he delivers the package to the tester, in the test environment, the tester needs to install the package through a batch processing file, and then from the batch processing file, the previously generated data file is flown in through. So flown in through in the sense the data is set up, the testing activity is carried on. So the tester has the responsibility of getting the complete scenario, the user story, into place, like right from testing it, making a sit test, and then to UAT. And when it comes to UAT, like the complete responsibility holds to the tester, where he needs to like he needs to tell the users what is actually in the story, because we'll be having dilemmas in what the user story is reflecting. So the tester has the responsibility in spreading out the word of what has been done and what is the system working. So this is the basic responsibility when it comes to UAT. And then say the tester is responsible in release activity. Like he got to plan for the release, like using HP Service Manager tool, and then he got to coordinate with HP resources, because the HP resources were maintaining the database part and the winter infrastructure. So he needs to coordinate between both of them in order to get into a release. And then when it comes to release, the protocol activity starts from the tester, and then the implementation is carried over by the DBA and the winter resource, and then it comes to the tester itself, because he needs to close out the call by making a post-implementation test. So it's the responsibility of the tester over there in Origin to make out a call on is the implementation successful or not. So after getting this implemented, he needs to communicate it through the release manager and the application manager to tell that it's all been done in a good norms, and also to the business users. So the communication part over here plays a vital role in this in my provision. Like you need to be proactively communicating with the BAs, the devs, the users, the release manager, the test manager, and the application manager. So it's a basic role of communicating and doing stuff. So this was my profile basically. So right now in India looking for a Java developer profile because I am a person with good Java development skills. Like when started with the basic writing of the application, right from defining the deployment descriptor, I had a role in playing with the project. Like I did the deployment, the project description, like governing the project's say like the structure, the files which needs to go in, like the technology which we are choosing, the frameworks which we are choosing, and then implementing the project. So this is basically my technical profile. And say I'm looking at the industrial say like the profile which has been changed from a test analyst to the developer sector is nothing but as a developer I have a knowledge of how the process, the packages, or how the system is implemented, like right from the start, like getting the requirements from the customer. I'll be able to do like eliciting the requirement, validating and managing the requirements through a backlog chart, and analyzing what would be the technical grounds in which this particular requirement can be fulfilled, and then how the testing can be carried out, what would be the impact of the product when it is delivered. Like this is the complete profile of mine. And say to tell about my hobbies, like I do take care of I do photography. That's my say like a proposed hobby. And say to comparatively say that on my skill set, like my abilities, like I'm a good communicator, proactive communicator in the sense like active communication is the very foremost thing which a professional should have. So I'm onto that, and my Java development skills is onto that, and I have a good database knowledge. So thank you.